But before that, we'll chant the prayers and then we'll begin our discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing from first canto, fifth chapter, fifth verse. Vyasa Uvacha Astya eva me sarvam idam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmulam avyaktam agada bodham prichhamahe tvatma bhavatma bhutam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Shri Vyasdev said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge, due to your being the offspring of one, the Brahma, who is self-born, without mundane father and mother. Purport. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind. And that is the root cause of all despondencies. This is not always detected. Even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge, it is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narada should be approached is explained below. That means the next verse. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much for joining early morning. It must be very cold out there in Calgary, but your sincerity, your eagerness to hear Krishna Katha, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam on every Saturday morning, it is very endearing. You all are attracting great mercy and blessings from the entire parampara and especially Srila Prabhupada. This desire to hear Krishna's glories, to hear Bhagavatam, this desire may come in somebody's heart in many, many lifetimes. And it's not just that just by spending lifetimes you get this desire. It is pure, pure mercy of Krishna that one gets attracted to hear Krishna Katha, to hear Bhagavat Katha, right? One may generally want to hear as per one's convenience, but to come from your homes, I won't say traffic. Now it's all winter and cold, right? On those roads and coming in and sitting there in the temple hall and listening to Katha. I'm very grateful to you for setting this wonderful example for me. Back in India, everything is, all the seasons are, they go in such a way that everything is tolerable here, right? So we are living in a very cozy and nice environment, and yet we are not able to practice our bhakti nicely. But seeing all of your good example, we also feel inspired that we should do something wonderful in our bhakti. Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful to all of you for this. Hare Krishna. So today we have come to a juncture where Vyasadeva, who is the disciple of Narad Muni, but before that he is the literary incarnation who has appeared to give us Vedas in written form. Vedas were already there. Now there's a huge bank of knowledge. Veda means knowledge. Vedanta means end of knowledge. You can imagine what task is there. Huge bank of knowledge. Everything to be written down, everything to be penned down, everything to be collected at one place, right? And properly, right? Like if somebody gives me, a huge 10 GB, text downloaded, and tells me, you create the index, you create the chapter titles, make multiple books out of this. Even a 10 GB data is a huge data. Now imagine entire Veda, entire knowledge that was available had to be penned down and given in a structured way. Now, giving knowledge was not just the only work that he had to do. Vyasdev's bigger responsibility was that people should take this knowledge seriously. Right? Like many times now, Prabhupada book distribution marathon is going on. We go out to distribute Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and many times people, when you see a carton full of books in the form of Bhagavatam, oh, ye kya samjhega, what will understand out of it? Forget that even a Bhagavad Gita becomes so difficult for them. What will I do? Where will I get time to study this? What will I apply? Imagine Vyasdev's worry is not just to write down. Vyasdev's worry is that they should accept it, apply it, and get delivered from this world, from this material world to spiritual world. It's a huge task, right? And what happens generally, right? Like, one time I asked one couple back here in Pune that, I have at, 10, 15 children, congregation children who have registered. I want you to do a program for them, right? Please, every Sunday after the morning Sunday, Bhagavatam class like you all have in Calgary, I told them every Sunday after the class, you have to do a program for them. Right? And what happened? I did not go back for 6 weeks to them because I knew them, they were senior people, and these were children to be dealt with. I assumed that they will do a good job. But after 6 weeks, I didn't go to them. I went to the children and I went to the parents. I asked the children, so last 6 weeks, have you been attending the program? Yes, 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 our program is very nice. And I said, what is nice about your program? So before the class, we get sweet. In between, we can have sweets. After the class, once again, we get some more sweets. That is all that they remembered of the class. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Right? Then I went to the parents and I asked them, what is your experience with this class and your children attending this class? And they said, Prabhuji, useless waste of time. I said, hey, what's going on? Then I went to this couple and I asked, what are you doing as a program? He said, Prabhuji, just to make these children sit, we have to feed them so much sweet. All our time goes in sweet making and there is no time for preparing. What are we going to speak to them? So something we do with this. So I thought, look at this, few children to be, trained and carried ahead, and they did not know what to give, what to offer. Imagine Vyasdev's job to be given to for entire Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada, his job was, Prabhupada said, one time one disciple came back and said, Swamiji, I saw your dictaphone. Last 3 evenings, you have not been recording anything. We have to type because Prabhupada would record and those cassettes would go to LA and they would be typed and that's how the books would come out. So this disciple in LA said, Prabhupada, your dictaphone is not moving ahead. Are you doing any, recording? Prabhupada said, my job is not like yours. I hear and I type. Prabhupada said, when I record, I have to think, am I giving everything in parampara as it is? Am I giving the stuff that is needed and will be understood? And I have to think of next 10,000 years for which my books will be like legal books. So I'm giving an example of a couple who did not understand what to give to children. They were only giving sweets. Prabhupada, so thoughtful he has to be when he's giving his books, right? Imagine Vyasdev's situation. Vyasdev decided, I need to take care of many, different groups of people, different, of society, upbringing. I will try to give as many branches, create as many branches. You pick up whatever you like and move ahead from there. And what happened? Whatever he offered, he himself was despondent. He himself was sad. I am not satisfied with my work. What is the problem? And in this condition, where he himself is dejected, Narad Muni has entered. That is the background for this verse, where Vyasdev is requesting Narad Muni, you are the son of Brahma. You know everything. Please tell me the reason, the cause of my despondency. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada is saying, no matter how educated you may be, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, right, that even the greatest erudite scholar in the materialistic knowledge cannot detect what is the root cause of despondencies, because everything in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind, which always changes. Right? So, because Vyasadev is asking such a question, he is Vyasa, yet he is asking so humbly to Narad Muni. We will discuss something today on this topic of being a follower, not a manufacturer. Okay. Importance of being a follower, right? We practice in parampara, right? So if you see the altar, on your altar, the first darshan that you take is of the acharyas. They are one after another sitting, right? They're all followers. Right? They are leaders, but they're first followers. Right? Why are they followers? Because none of them manufactures anything. So Vyasdev tried to manufacture, chalo मैं कुछ तो अलग करता हूं, I will make something, I'll give something for which by which everyone will be satisfied. Different shloks for different folks. But he himself was dissatisfied at the end. So, what is modern lifestyle? Modern lifestyle is, Kali Yuga lifestyle is, emphasis is on novelty, emphasis on creation, emphasis on doing something unique. Right from childhood, kids are told, be yourself. You have to be unique in everything, right? You find auditions, for competitions, you find everyone has to be unique. You have to stand apart, right? Like, every new mobile that comes in, it's not just the number. Which are the new features that you are giving? What have you manufactured? Right? Nobel Prize. It is given for innovation. If somebody writes a PhD thesis, you have to choose a topic which no one has ever chosen, right? And if anybody, copies, it is called plagiarism, right? Some word is a plagiarism, and it is not appreciated. You have to innovate. You have to be new, right? Every time do something unique. And what happens when we come to spiritual life? We come with the same disease. But here, it's the exactly opposite world. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्याम जागृति संयमी यस्याम जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः. Krishna says material life and spiritual life exactly opposite. Material life, something unique, manufacture, innovate, do something, stand apart. But in spiritual life, you simply repeat. You are supposed to be a follower. What is absolute truth is spoken. All that you need to do is just take it, carry it ahead, right? So when one comes to spiritual life, sometimes we may come in with the same mentality, right? Like, during Prabhupada times, Satswarup Maharaj has given us a beautiful Lilamrit. I'm going to share with you many pastimes of Prabhupada today, right? With certain, aspects. So this desire for being innovative, do something new, something different. In Prabhupada times, especially those, I can have my own way of meditation. Why not? Why should I chant any mantra like this, which they will tell me? Why should I follow a process that will be given to me? I want to do something on my own, right? So, Prabhupada knew this guy by the name Allen Ginsberg. This guy was the father of the hippie movement. One time this Allen Ginsberg, he dropped by. He was wearing his denims, suspenders, a faded shirt. He was carrying a little Indian made harmonium. And when he came to Prabhupada like that, when Prabhupada saw him, Prabhupada said, "Oh, you are still chanting Hare Krishna?" And Alan replied, "Yes, Swamiji, I still chant Hare Krishna, but I also chant other things." And Alan asked for permission to Prabhupada if he would like to hear his chanting and playing. And Prabhupada nodded, "Okay, chant, sing something." And Alan began playing on his harmonium and chanting Om. And with each recitation of the word Om, his voice went deeper. Om, like that. And when the chant was over, Prabhupada simply began to laugh. And Prabhupada said, "You can chant whatever you want to chant, but just keep chanting Hare Krishna. As long as you are chanting Hare Krishna, then everything is all right." So this person, he had met Prabhupada, he heard chanting about Hare Krishna Mahamantra right in India. Allen Ginsberg was roaming around in India. He got the mantra here itself. When he met Prabhupada, he said, "I know the mantra. I have been with sadhus in India." But Prabhupada is asking, "Are you still chanting?" "No, no. I am doing something different also now." See, the tendency creeps in of innovation, of doing something different, right? So I can have my own way or process. Sometimes people think I can have my own method of perfection. Right? We all know one very famous disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Yamuna Mataji, right? Very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Her previous name was Joanne. And Joanne came to understand that serving Swamiji was a serious matter. And she was a little hesitant about jumping into initiation because Joanne was thinking that I should be 100% sure about it. Right? But sometimes she would cry in ecstasy and sometimes she would fall asleep during Swamiji's classes. So she remained a little hesitant and skeptical. Can I actually apply Swamiji's teachings to my life? So she was going on in that phase. And one evening, Prabhupada asked her, "When are you going to be initiated?" And Joanne replied, "I don't know, but I relish reading your books and chanting Hare Krishna." Right? And she said, "But I'm attracted to the mountains. I want to be elevated. I want to elevate my spiritual consciousness. And that's why I want to travel to Tibet." When Prabhupada heard this, Prabhupada was sitting on a rocking chair. He looked down at Joanne, right? Right? As she was sitting at Prabhupada's feet. And Yamuna Mataji says, "I felt as if he was looking right through me." And Prabhupada told her, "I can take you to a higher place than Tibet. Just see." And Joanne, she says, suddenly she felt that Swamiji knew everything about her. She understood, "Oh, I have to see through the eyes, through his eyes, what Krishna consciousness is. And he's promising me that he will take me to some very elevated realm. And she would have to see it through him." And that was the instant where she decided, "I give up my attempt of own method of perfection. I will accept initiation from Swamiji." Right? Sometimes people have their own concepts and ideologies that they keep in spiritual life. Right? One time, Prabhupada was in Sydney, and one bearded American anthropologist, he came on a motorcycle to attend Prabhupada's lecture and kirtan. And after the lecture, kirtan was over, this anthropologist, he told Srila Prabhupada that I have been to India to study primitive tribes. And Prabhupada told him, "You are simply wasting your time. Why do you want to study primitive people? Why don't you study exalted people?" Why do you want to study primitive people, Baba? You study exalted people. And Prabhupada narrated a story to him. And Prabhupada said, one time there was a poor man. He roasted, a cob of corn. And when he roasted it, He had a lot of time with him. What do I do? Then he started picking off the kernels one at a time and eating them. And in this way, it took him many hours to finish that one cob. And Prabhupada said, why did he do this? Because he had nothing else to do, just to pass the time of the day. And in the same way, Prabhupada told this guy, the study of anthropology was simply a waste of time. Prabhupada asked, why don't you study some person or group of persons from whom you can learn something? Right? So we also come to spiritual life, my own way of meditation, my own method of perfection, my own concept or ideologies, right? But why do we like to manufacture? Why do we want to do our own thing? Right? Why is the desire there? We'll discuss a few reasons for this. One reason why we like to manufacture is we want to show to others that I am something special. I am also going to contribute. I can also do something different. That desire to show off, right? There's nothing spiritual, it's just ego there. But we think I also have something to contribute. One time Prabhupada was in Melbourne and Prabhupada spoke at the town hall. And so many Melbourne hippies came. And there was a man who came, his name was Wizard. This guy used to be a professor at the university, but he resigned from his post so that he can carry out his shenanigans. But this guy was very intellectual, at least he felt like that. But when he came to Prabhupada's lecture, he sat through the lecture. He was dressed in a black cape and a leotard. And he got up. As soon as Prabhupada asked for questions, he got up. And he had a group of his own followers. First, when he began, this guy, he spoke very respectfully. Excuse me, Your Divine Grace, I have been listening to your lecture, but I have one thing I would like to say in this regard. He paused and then he said, I believe that I am God. I am the center of the universe. And I am going to prove this sometime next year that I am the center of the universe. And Prabhupada said, that's all right. Everybody is thinking like that. What makes you special? Even the dog thinks I am the center of everything. Everything revolves around me. Nothing special. And that wizard's whole game was that he wanted to be different. His dress, his talking, his philosophy. And Prabhupada quickly exposed him. He exposed him as just another materialistic fool. And everybody around started laughing and clapping. Why do we like to manufacture? Sometimes people feel, should it be so easy a process as Krishna consciousness? Just come to temple, chant Hare Krishna, hear something, read something, chant, dance, take prasad. Shouldn't it be head down, legs above? Right? Shouldn't it be sitting on some nails? Shouldn't it be fasting for many, many days? This process seems to be very easy. Right? Just by chanting and hearing, I'll go back home, back to Godhead. No, let me manufacture something. Prabhupada was one time on a morning walk. Prabhupada was going in Tokyo. Prabhupada went for a morning walk. This is a little long pastime. Because this is especially about people thinking it cannot be that easy. So, when devotees were walking along with Prabhupada, they saw one devotee coming, and they said, "Oh, that's Sanjaya." Right? And Prabhupada asked, "Is he with us?" Yes, Prabhupada, his name is Sanjaya. And one devotee said, "Prabhupada, he's having a little difficulty." What is that? Prabhupada and the devotee replied to Prabhupada, he has been staying in Hong Kong for some time, and he's taking too much association with few other devotees who have some funny philosophies about how they should act in Krishna consciousness. But what is that some philosophy? Manufacturing something? Prabhupada asked. Yes, Prabhupada, disciples told, yes, Prabhupada, they think, just become Krishna conscious. Don't live within the temple. Why to follow all these principles of temple life, devotional life? And Prabhupada asked, where have they got this philosophy from? And devotee said, we don't know, Prabhupada. And Satswarup Maharaj interjected and said, Prabhupada, it's the same old hippie philosophy. Just move back and live in the street. Right? And another devotee said, Prabhupada, this guy would rather sleep in the train station than to live with devotees, live very clean, shave his head, put on tilak, right? He would rather sleep in the train station than come and live in the temple. Oh, is that so? Right? So Prabhupada asked, why not stay with devotees? Why not come and associate with devotees? Once again, Prabhupada, because he doesn't want to. And Prabhupada says, what is the improvement in his life, spiritual life, by living at the train station? And Satswarup Maharaj said, maybe Prabhupada, he thinks that he's free. And Prabhupada said, temple is also free. And one devotee said, Prabhupada, actually he doesn't want to adhere to the restrictions of the temple. Rising early for the Mangalarti. And Prabhupada said, restriction? Aren't there any restrictions at the train station? Can you do anything at the train station? Right? He will not obey the restrictions there. Right? Yes, he'll have to. Then Prabhupada said, that means he's mad. By sleeping at the train station, he doesn't think there are restrictions. He'll be forced to get up early there also. Devotee Prabhupada, but by sleeping at the train station, he thinks these restrictions are not forced upon him. Whereas maybe when he comes to temple, he feels that force. And Prabhupada said, madman's philosophy. Right? He thinks, Prabhupada, but he is coming to you now because he feels that you will sympathize with him, and you will understand him. Right? But Prabhupada said, no, we cannot allow this nonsense philosophy. Then he still came, walked with Prabhupada and reached the temple, and Prabhupada gave a class there. Right? And after the class, Prabhupada asked this boy, Sanjaya, who has given you this name? And Sanjaya, you have, Srila Prabhupada, you have given. And Prabhupada said, Sanjaya Uvacha. And everyone laughed. Right? And Sanjaya, this boy, he quickly from Bhagavad Gita, he said, having heard your holy dialogue, my hair are standing on end, like Sanjaya says in the Gita. Very good, very good. You know shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, you know, right? So, Prabhupada, he said, you want to know something about that verse? He said, no, Prabhupada, I don't want to hear. I don't want to. Prabhupada said, you should hear completely. If you say that I am your guru, you should listen to me. You should follow the instruction. And if you cannot understand, then consult the spiritual master. Not to give up the association of the spiritual master and interpret in your own way. Prabhupada said, that is rascaldom. Don't do that. Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. What is this? Prabhupada said, you say that you have submitted to me and you give up the company of spiritual master and invent your own ways of life. That is simply misinterpretation from your side. That will not help. The class got over and this Sanjaya again came to Prabhupada to talk to him and further clarify from him. Right? Sanjaya, this boy asked Prabhupada, how am I to know whom to take instructions from? I take from you, but you are not always present. Right? Prabhupada said, see, first of all, are you sure that you have surrendered to a bona fide teacher? When you accepted initiation from me, are you sure that I am representing a bona fide path? He said, no, Swamiji, that's not my doubt. My doubt is, whom should I take instruction from? Satswarup Maharaj once again came in and says, Prabhupada, what he means is, aside from you, he wants to follow you, but if you are not here, whom should he follow? And Prabhupada said, I have got so many books, all my instructions are there. And Sanjaya replied, but I read the books with my mind and I misinterpret. Then Prabhupada said, then those who are following me, you go to them. I am understanding like this. Is it all right? And Sanjaya quickly took out two names. Siddha Swarup in LA. He was also reading your books. He was also interpreting. And I asked questions to them. Prabhupada said, that Siddha Swarup? Oh, he's interpreting in his own way. He has given up my company. Is that very good interpretation? And Sanjaya was taken, what? I never knew he gave up your company. But yes, yeah, I thought he was still your devotee. And Prabhupada said, no, they have given me up. You see, Siddha Swarup, I do not know. He's not so fool. Uh, in Hawaii, Prabhupada said, Gaur Sundar, Sudama Vipra, they do not come to see me. What wrong have I done? Right? Tadvidnanartham Guru Mevabi Gacche. They are supposed to come to Guru. You have accepted somebody as spiritual master, and then you give up. Right? If you give up, that's a different thing. But if you accept somebody as spiritual master, you must come and offer obeisances and respect. That is the first principle. And Prabhupada said, they did not come to me. I was there for many days. 2 weeks I was there. I called them, immediately come and meet me. And what did that Gaur Sundar say? Prabhupada said, they said, Swamiji, you come to us. You visit us. They wanted Prabhupada to visit their place. Right? And Sanjaya says, maybe they had something nice to show you, Prabhupada. Right? Prabhupada said, something nice on their property. Prabhupada said, oh, something nice. Therefore, you can call your spiritual master, come here, as you would call your dog. Is that a very good sign that you call, come, like a dog you call? No, Sanjay said, it was not good on their part. Prabhupada finished the talk. Anyone who will manufacture his own way of devotion, oh, he's a rascal. It is not possible. You cannot manufacture. Prabhupada said, what is this? The way their attire, the way they look, what is this staying at the railway station? Prabhupada brought it, right? And Sanjaya quickly understood. He said, Swamiji, from tomorrow I will stay with devotees and I will wake up for Mangalarti. Prabhupada wanted to bring, don't manufacture, right? Why do we manufacture? Sometimes why do we like to manufacture? We discussed two reasons till now. We want to show to others that I am something special. We feel that it cannot be easy. It has to be something different, difficult. The third reason is we have our own preconceived notions of success. We have our own ideas. I'll be successful in spiritual life if I get 1 lakh followers, or I excel in a certain area, right? What is the point if I cannot play harmonium or guitar, or I cannot do street kirtans? We have our own ideas about success, right? Or another reason why we like to manufacture is it gives some pleasure within. My contribution. And this is some intellectual pleasure, some mental pleasure, some egoistic pleasure that we get, right? Like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given clear path. The parampara is there, but then there are so many apasampradayas, so many deviant, sects. Why? Everyone wants to manufacture, right? Why we want to, why do we tend to why do we have this tendency of manufacturing, doing something different, something new? Many times we lose trust in the authority and we think we will do something, we will go on our own. Like Prabhupada had a disciple by the name Purushottam. As soon as Prabhupada said, oh, moon landing, hoax, not true. This guy could not understand. Okay, I am not able to understand why Swamiji is saying this. Let my spiritual life continue. I should not. But this guy said, if this is what he says, I give up on him. I will find my way. Right? What is there? We trust our mind more than Guru. Right? Or why do we like to manufacture? Because we want cheap results. Right? His Grace Gurujan Prabhu, one of the prominent, very, very senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada told him and his wife Jagatarini Mataji to go to Southeast Asia to preach Krishna consciousness. Both husband and wife went. They stayed in Hong Kong, other Middle Eastern countries. And Prabhupada was waiting. There was no reports coming from there. But when Prabhupada wrote a letter, he got a reply. And from the reply, Prabhupada understood everything is not proper there. The way I had trained them, things are not going on in that same way. So Prabhupada came to Hong Kong to meet them. Right? When they received Srila Prabhupada, right? When they went to the airport, they went in, not in devotee clothes. They went in normal clothes, no tilak. They had stopped, going for, chanting kirtans. They were not reading Prabhupada books. And, some level of preaching. And Gurujan Prabhu says, we had come to a point we had compromised on the standards. Right? And they went, but when Prabhupada came, they took a black Rolls Royce on rent and they went to the airport. And Prabhupada sat in the car, right, from Kowloon side of Hong Kong Harbor. And so Gurujan Prabhu and his wife, right, they sat with Prabhupada on the plush back seat. And Satswarup Maharaj, who was also with Prabhupada, he was sitting with the driver, right? And Prabhupada said, so nice to see both of you, right? And they were also cheerful. Yes, Prabhupada, we are meeting Prabhupada. Prabhupada smiled and asked Gurujan Prabhu's wife about her parents. Prabhupada told her, I met them in Australia. Everything okay with them? I last met them in Australia. And they replied, yes, things are going on. Then Prabhupada turned to Gurujan Prabhu and said, what is your morning program? And Gurujan Prabhu said, well, Prabhupada, we don't really have so many guests coming right now. So we usually don't have much of a morning program. Now, Gurujan Prabhu's wife understood something is happening here. She quickly closed the glass window so that Satswarup Maharaj cannot hear the conversation and the driver cannot hear. And Prabhupada continued, guests may or may not be coming, but why don't you have a morning program? Is your temple in ISKCON? And then Prabhupada gave a very heavy question. Whose disciple are you? And Gurujan Prabhu said, it was such a jolt. I got so nervous. Of course, Prabhupada, I'm your disciple. Then Prabhupada said, then why don't you follow what I have given? Why don't you have a morning program? Right? And Prabhupada quickly, one after another, pointed out the deficiency and misconceptions in both of them. Prabhupada said, I have sent you. I have told you what should be done. Your practice is very important to me. Right? So, we have this tendency, we discussed the tendency to, innovate and manufacture. We discussed why do we have that tendency? But spiritual life means we first become a follower. Every leader at some level is follower. Right? But unless you're a good follower, you cannot be a good leader. Why is it necessary to be a follower? Even in our other, our material lives, if I can call it like that, every PhD has a PhD guide. Every sports person has a coach. Even Krishna follows this system. Krishna accepted Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Guru. Lord Ram accepted Guru. Why? To show us following is essential. Following is spiritual. You follow the previous authorities, right? And ultimately, if success depends not on me, right? It depends on the mercy that I receive. I have to receive mercy from parampara, right? So, and especially in Krishna consciousness, repetition is more important than modification. Right? Repetition is more important than modification. Right? Like Srila Prabhupada would say, what is preaching? Prabhupada, preaching simply means you hear 2 lines and you speak 2 lines. Don't add, don't subscribe, don't do anything new. Whatever you have heard, just go and repeat. Right? Prabhupada was one time in South India and one family, he was staying with a family, and the husband in the family said, I have read your Bhagavad Gita as it is, Prabhupada. Very good, very nice, you have read it. And this person said, Swamiji, what is it, Swamiji? Nothing new about it. Whatever Srila Ramanujacharya has given, most things you have repeated. And Prabhupada said, thank you for appreciating me. What? Yeah, I never wanted to write something new. I simply wanted to repeat the previous acharyas. That's why I have written on the book cover page as it is. That is purity actually in spiritual life. If you are pure, you will carry the message as it is, right? Like in the temple hall, right at this time, you play the game Chinese whisper. The first person will say something in the ears of the first guy and let the message go on and pass from one person to another. By the time it reaches the end of the temple hall, you will find something different only getting spoken. What happened to the message? Because when the message goes to different people, it gets parsed. Purity means we can carry it as it is. Prabhupada said, thank you for appreciating me, because I could repeat as it is. Every morning you find, every morning you come to temple, the Mangalarti is same. Guru Puja is same. We don't change. We simply repeat the same artis every day. We chant the same mantra every day without alteration. This is spiritual. Something new is not spiritual. Something latest is not spiritual. What is perfection has already been awarded. We simply accept it, apply it, and simply repeat as it is. Right? We read the same Bhagavatam, we read the same Bhagavad Gita, and we have to accept the fact those who modify, they cannot get the mercy of the parampara. By this tendency to modify, like Vyasadeva is feeling despondent now, right? So if we have this tendency of modifying, we ourselves cut the umbilical cord of mercy from the parampara. Sampradaya vihinaste mantraste nishphala mata. Right? A mantra should be received from the disciplic succession. Right? But mantraste nishphala. It will not be effective. Right? So mantra is received through the proper channel. Otherwise, it will not act. A mantra cannot be manufactured. It must come from the original supreme absolute. It has to come down to the channel of disciplic succession. It has to be received in that way, and then only it will act. I'll share a very nice pastime with all of you. Are you all awake, or am I boring you? Enough that you are completing the whatever nap remaining from the night.
Awake, Prabhuji.
Thank you for. Okay. So now Prabhupada is saying, don't modify, otherwise you will not get mercy. Right? One time, Prabhupada was at a temple. There was kirtan going out throughout the morning. Right? Devotees were preparing for the installation of the deities. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting quietly in his room. So that, and Prabhupada's servant Harikesh Prabhu that time, he was waiting. Whenever Prabhupada will ring the bell, he has to jump in and run into Prabhupada's room. Yes, Prabhupada, what do I do for you? And Prabhupada rang the bell. And Harikesh Prabhu says, I went in. And Prabhupada told him, sit here and listen. What is that? And Prabhupada indicated at the kirtans downstairs. And Prabhupada said, he's adding something before the Hare Krishna mantra. Go and stop it and bring the kirtan leader here. So Harikesh Prabhu thought, Bapre. He wasn't very sure exactly what was Prabhupada referring to, but he simply went straight downstairs. He pushed his way through the packed temple room, and Prutuputra Swami, one devotee, he was pounding on the drum, on the mridanga, and he was leading a loud and fervent rendition of Mahamantra. And some brahmacharis who were all sweat-soaked, they were gathered around him, and they were clashing the kartals, they're stamping their feet, waving their hands, and an intense exchange of holy names was going on. He was leading, others were following. First he chanted and then they repeated. And every time he took the lead, this time Harikesh Prabhu heard, he would preface the mantra with the word bhaja. Bhaja Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Bhaja Hare Krishna. This is how he was singing. And Harikesh, he patted on the back of, pushed Prutuputra Swami, and he told him, stop. He told, stop. Prabhupada wants you to stop the kirtan and he has called you. He could not understand. The whole temple hall is full. Devotees are chanting, dumping, dancing, and suddenly kirtan is stopped. But when he heard Prabhupada's name, he said, okay. He stopped and went behind this devotee and went into Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada, his sharp ears had picked out the extra word, and he demanded this devotee, this Bhaja Hare Krishna mantra. There is no Bhaja in the Hare Krishna mantra. Where did you get this from? And this guy was already shaken by Prabhupada's sudden unexpected reproach. And Prutuputra Swami, he said, I heard it in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada's anger increased. And his face was, and he thought, how these non-ISKCON elements of Vrindavan, they're spoiling you all guys. And Prabhupada, why are you taking this from the nonsense Babajis? Who has told you this? And he said, Prabhupada, oh, not from the Babajis. I heard it from our own men in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada still fumed, but he eased a little bit. And he told, it has come from an outside source. Prabhupada warned his disciple, never chant this Bhaja Hare Krishna again. Hare Krishna mantra is complete in itself. It requires no addition. And Prutuputra Swami, he quickly bowed down and said, I will never repeat this mistake, and returned to the temple hall to resume the chanting, but this time without any addition. Why Prabhupada stopped? If the mantra, one word is introduced, you have blocked the mercy of Parampara. Anything you add, did it. You are not supposed to do. Mahaprabhu knew what is supposed to be given. Vyasadeva has given the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Kali Santra Upanishad. Right? Many times we think, if I just follow, what about my independence? What about my free will? Am I a fool that I don't know anything? Right? Where should we use our free will? In following the principles, we should be very strict. In the details, free will can be used. Don't change the principles. Like Prabhupada was told by his guru, preach in the Western countries. That instruction was there, right? Then Prabhupada innovated. Prabhupada meant, seeing the circumstances, Prabhupada did various kinds of preaching attempts there, right? So principles should be held upon. Free will independence can be used in the details. And to the degree we follow, to that degree, Krishna gives us or awards us increased free will. Like you see, Narad Muni bajaye veena, Radhika Ramana name. And what do you find? Narad Muni has such free will, right? He can go wherever he likes, because such 100% surrender to Krishna, right? So, when we follow, then there is real freedom. Prabhupada would say the street dog and the pet dog. The pet dog seems to be leashed. The pet dog seems to be carried here and there. The street dog is jumping. But Prabhupada said the pet dog is enjoying real freedom. The pet dog has a master. And pet dog will be fed with one's own hands by the master. The street dog looks independent. But that kind of independence, Prabhupada would say, it's only farce. Right? Like back in India, we have something called as kite flying. Patang udate hum log. Right? India mein kite flying is there. The kite can rise high in the sky till the time the thread is held by somebody. But one may think, oh, why should anybody hold the thread? It's like holding the kite behind. Kaat do. break the thread, allow the kite to fly. It will fly for some time, but very soon will fall on the ground. So spiritual life means you give the thread of your life in the hands of Guru and Parampara. Anytime you feel, give me independence, give me free will, then I become Kati Patang. Right? That's why Prabhupada gives us four regulative principles of freedom, Prabhupada would say. These are principles, but they ultimately free you. Right? So uh, one time one boy raised hand and asked Prabhupada, why is it that one person, one soul comes to Krishna and another does not? And Prabhupada said, why is one soul in the Bhavri and another has come to the Krishna temple? And Prabhupada paused and no one could reply. And Prabhupada said, because one wants to be here and the other does not. It's simply a question of free will. If you use it properly, you can go to Krishna. Otherwise, we will stay down in the material world. We should not think following to be blind faith. Right? Spiritual following does not mean blind faith. Right? We are not putting faith without any reason. We have complete philosophy behind it, why we are following. And we have faith because previous acharyas have traversed the path. Previous devotees have traversed the path. Like Krishna is telling Arjuna in the Gita, oh, you are not the first person that you heard Bhagavad Gita. I have spoken to Vivaswan. This knowledge has already been given. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashritah bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. Krishna told Arjuna, Are Baba, being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, fully absorbed in me, taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by this knowledge, right? And they attained transcendental love for me. Mad bhavamagataha. Many predecessors have done, many predecessors have traversed the path, right? So, once we take to the process is do not manufacture. Perfection given as it is to me. I accept it, I apply it, and I simply follow in repeating it to others. Right? And 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 35th verse, 11 to 35. I'm finishing with this. It says, Bhakti is such a path, Krishna consciousness is such a path. Even if you blindly follow, you will reach the right destination. या नास्थायन्नरो राजन न प्रमादेत करहिचित धावन निमिल्य वा नेत्रे न स्खलेत न पतेत इह. So the sages, the Navayogindras, they are telling Maharaj Nimi, one who accepts this process of devotional service, this process of Krishna consciousness, will never blunder on this path. Even while running with eyes closed, one will never trip or fall. This process is so 100% guaranteed path. All that we need to do is have a consciousness of follower, not a manufacturer, not an innovator. Innovation can be done in details, but right, what needs to be, the principles have to be followed. Right? And as soon as Vyasdev felt the despondency in the heart, because the disciple was sincere, Guru Narad Muni came by and is going to help him very soon. Right? But we will come across verses now as we go ahead where the Guru will chastise the disciple. Very strong words, which are very important for the disciple to learn the right lessons. This will happen as we go ahead. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. This was a wonderful class and an eye-opener for all of us, that how we need to just concentrate on what is given and not really go outside and think that, especially nowadays with so much of content being available online on YouTube, it becomes very easy to fall prey to such ideas and innovative philosophy to try to manufacture something. But thank you so much, Prabhuji. Is it okay, bro, if we can do some question answer? I know it's very late for you.
You can take 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. One question I had, Prabhuji, is sometimes when we hear certain classes from these ISKCON devotees, we might come across a very wonderful example that they gave, or an analogy that they share, which may not be given directly in Srila Prabhupada books, but it could be in context to recent events happening, or some of the recent changes happening in the outside society. So, is it okay to take that example and speak when we are talking to others, explaining it to others, or should we just stick to the examples given in the Srila Prabhupada books only?
Okay, it is okay. I'll answer. It is best to stick to Prabhupada examples. Right? We are authentic then. We are in parampara then. But if you find that if we want people to connect to the philosophy and something something latest and something pratyaksha praman can help them, we have to see those devotees whom we are hearing from, whatever attractive we may be hearing, are they practicing themselves nicely? Are their spiritual practice, is it in good standing? Do they have the blessings of parampara, their superiors, guru? Right? Have they been authorized? Otherwise, there are so many people, they open their Facebook channel or a YouTube channel and they start talking and making something. It could be attractive, but it will not last. There's no mercy coming there. Right? So generally, we should be very careful to repeat as it is. Right? Like Prabhupada, if you hear him, big jokes or big humor or a big latest something, hardly anything. But Prabhupada made a worldwide movement. Prabhupada turned hippies into devotees, a very difficult class of society. We should have faith that if I simply repeat Prabhupada, it will make devotees. But if we find that there is something worthwhile, something attractive, do go and cross check. Where is it coming from? The source has to be cross checked. Okay. It's not just attractiveness of it, it also should be carrying the mercy aspect with it. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone would like to ask any questions? They can come here. One devotee. Okay, so you can directly speak.
Namaste, Prabhuji. I wanted to find
Hare
out.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And then actually when I meditate, the tears comes, but I don't know why. But I'm not crying. It's coming, and then it happens over here, and then the shivering and the whole body. And I meditate. Why it is like that?
Okay. So what happens is when you meditate, the scriptures tell us that these could be the symptoms of ecstasy. I'm not saying, I'm not denying anything here, but that it is wrong or false, but it could be. But yes, one has to understand that if I am following the process, having a bona fide guru, having a bona fide method of meditation, that will make the symptoms all the more authentic. Right? So these symptoms are like when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, the first time he took darshan of Lord Jagannath, such ecstasy, he had sweat, he had tears, the hairs of his body were standing on end, there was compass, sweda, everything was right. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said, this is the symptom of a Mahabhagavat. This is a great soul. Wait, don't beat him. Don't think that he is another upstart. Very great soul. But why? Because everything else about of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was properly in parampara. So my request to you would be, if your meditation is around chanting Hare Krishna, because if Kali Yuga is going on, I hope you accepted this is the Kali Yuga going on. And in Kali Yuga, the method and the process is to chant Hare Krishna. The meditation is to hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You could continue your way of meditation, but add this as well. Very soon you will find the effect, and if you can read a book by the name Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami, you will get to know What are the right symptoms? What are genuine symptoms? When should these symptoms come in a practitioner? Right? It's a whole science. Okay.
Actually,
Otherwise, one time one lady came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, when I chant Hare Krishna, I see a red light. Prabhupada said, continue chanting, it will go away. Right? Sometimes we may think that this lady was thinking that seeing red light is like very advanced symptom. That is not the case. We can read authorized textbooks like Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion, and we'll understand exactly how the advancement happens. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, good to see you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class. I've been challenged externally on this question, like when we say we are not religious people, we say we are not religious, but most of it we are doing is we are bowing down to deities, we are chanting, we are having our own book, Bhagavad Gita, and they tell this and then they challenge us like, how do you say you are not being religious here? You are religious. So I don't know if we can throw some light on this.
So religious means they are saying you are ritualistic. But we don't just follow rituals. We have a good philosophy behind whatever we do. If my parents were doing something like one time my father was doing aarti at home, and I asked my father, why do you move it clockwise? Why not anti-clockwise sometime? And all that he gave me was a slap. चुप, मेरे बाप को मैंने नहीं पूछा, तू कौन है पूछने वाला? ऐसे उटपटांग प्रश्न नहीं पूछना, ऐसे उटपटांग क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना. What useless questions you are asking? But it was my query. Then I thought it's only rituals that he's doing. Answer me. So when we are doing anything, so Prabhupada would say, we have philosophy and we have practice. We have theory and we have practical. We have both. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation. And religion without philosophy is sentimentalism, Prabhupada would say. So why are we not religious? Because even if we seem to be very religious, we are spiritual because we have philosophy behind it. So when you say the word spiritual, spirit plus ritual makes it spiritual. So only ritual and no spirit, then it is religious. But if spirit plus ritual is there, if you are not able to answer, if somebody comes to the temple and you tell them, bow down in front of the deities, they will say, why? You should be able to answer them, give a full philosophy behind it, why we are practicing this, right? If you do not have it, then you are religious. But you have a proper answer for everything for what you do, then it is spiritual. It just does not remain. And what is the use, Prabhupada would say, of just saying spiritual and empty philosophy, but no practice? I go to theory class, but I would like to go to the lab and learn it practically, whatever science was taught. So in ISKCON, we have the religion, we have the ritual, but we also have the philosophy, the spirit behind it. Okay?
Okay, Guruji. Thank you. Nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Any other devotee you can come here, bro.
Wait, just a quick one. Why do we do it clockwise? I'm just curious now.
So now one devotee wants to know, why do we do clockwise?
Okay, why do we clock? Okay, my father did not answer, but yes, why do we do it clockwise is because the entire creation is moving clockwise. Everything is moving clockwise, you see. The whole energy system of the creation moves clockwise. It's not going anti-clockwise. The whole creation, you find the universes, the way they revolve, the way everything is going on clockwise, right? Not the anti-clockwise. That's what physics says, right? So when simple arti also, we do it clockwise that way. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone online devotees, they want to ask any question, you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. I think we are good, Prabhuji.
Okay, let us stop.
Thank you very much.
Haribol.
Thank
Thank you very much for patiently hearing. In case I bored you all, in case I was not, I could not connect to all of you, please, Amrit Hari Prabhu is a senior devotee. Please connect and get clarifications from him. I am sure he'll be able to give better answers than me, and better guidance is available at you for you, all of you at home. And in case I spoke anything that was worth hearing, please try to apply it. That will give me great pleasure. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.